Hey there, welcome back to another video. This time around, it is my rant on the 2012 animated horror anthology, Where the Dead Go to Die. Now, this is a film that apparently is rather infamous for how bad it is and how disturbing the movie is. I just knew about the bad part. I had no idea about the disturbing part, so that was definitely a surprise, to say the least. I hated this movie. I thought this was abhorrent and awful, and in all honesty, a even worse horror anthology than Creepshow 3. I never thought I would be sitting here saying that, but here I am. This is a worse horror anthology than Creepshow 3. And if you have seen Creepshow 3, you know that that is saying something pretty significant. Honestly, this might be the worst horror anthology I've ever fucking seen. And it's not just because of how poorly it's written and how incompetent it is and how pointless it is, but it's also because of how genuinely disgusting and depraved it is. Where the Dead Go to Die is like if Fred Vogel, who did the August Underground films, and the guy behind a Serbian film decided to team up and make a horror anthology. And instead of making it in live action, they made it with CGI animation that looks like shitty cutscenes from a PS1 or PS2 game. That's exactly what this film is. This was beyond torturous to sit through. And I hated every fucking minute of it. Now, before I get around to sharing more of my thoughts on this awful movie, I would like to give a special shout out to Harvey for requesting this video. And if there is another film, TV show, or topic that you would like to see me discuss in the future, feel free to donate to either my PayPal or to my Patreon or my Cash App. The link to all three is in the video description down below, and I will try to get to your request as soon as I possibly can. Where the Dead Go to Die is directed by Jimmy ScreamerClauz, who is also known as James Creamer. Now, this is a guy who also wrote every short and every segment for this film. He also voiced some of the characters. He edited it. He also did some of the music, and he was responsible for all of the animation. Now, if this was anything else, I would want to actually congratulate Jimmy on putting something of this scale together and finding a distributor and finding somebody who was interested in his work enough to give him some funding to be able to make a movie and take some of his shorts and turn them into a feature film. But since this is Where the Dead Go to Die, I'm not really going to do that because you know what? I don't think Jimmy ScreamerClauz deserves that because this guy is a fucking sicko. This is the type of guy who is a total edgelord and a absolute wacko. This is the type of individual, to me personally, who, because of what is in this movie, either has some screws loose or is an asshole or both. So, Jimmy ScreamerClauz, his direction in this film is not impressive. I'm not impressed, especially when it comes to his first couple shorts that he features in this movie. I'm not impressed at all. Some very average or below average framing when it comes to his shots. The way that he utilizes his models and the animatics is pathetic. The camera work is very clunky, very chaotic, not very measured, not very skilled. It isn't until the third short that he did, where he utilized some motion capture in the form of a Xbox Connect, when things were a bit better, but it's still bad. It still looks like your average cutscene from a absolutely trash and terrible video game from the 90s or the 2000s. That's really what it looks like. It's the type of direction that to me is not technically impressive on pretty much any level, except for maybe a couple moments where you have some floaty camera work, or he uses a different camera angle, or he showcases like a kaleidoscope effect. Other than that, most of the time the direction is very flat, it's very lifeless, it's very lethargic, and it's not really that interesting. It's honestly kind of boring. And it's crazy for a movie that has all these different trippy, weird visuals that are flashing in front of your eyes constantly. But that's exactly what it is. It's a film directing wise that's honestly pretty bad, pretty dire. Now, as amateurish and as atrocious and as bad as Jimmy ScreamerClauz's direction is, his writing is even worse. Jimmy himself even admitted that he was high while writing a lot of these shorts on purpose. He was on shrooms or on other drugs, and that's not how you write a good script. That's not how you write a good story. That's how you write something that barely makes any fucking sense and sounds like a bunch of insane ramblings from a junkie. And that's exactly what you get with the screenplay for Where the Dead Go to Die. Now, Where the Dead Go to Die is 3 shorts with a very flimsy wraparound, because it was never even intended to be a horror anthology from the beginning. It was turned into something like that last minute, once Jimmy ScreamerClauz managed to trick somebody into giving him some more money to make more of these awful shorts. Because apparently he was shopping Tainted Milk and Liquid Memories to other people to potentially distribute them, and everyone else other than the guy from Unearthed Films told him to fuck off, and this all sucks dick. And he got one sucker who was like, yeah, this is some good shit, and said, hey, I can't really do much with this, it's too short, so can you make something that's longer? And that's why we have Where the Dead Go to Die. So you can blame Unearthed Films and the guy behind that company for the reason why we have this fucking movie. Thanks a lot, Unearthed Films. You should have left this in the dirt where it belongs. So the film starts out with a very loose wraparound kind of thing involving different characters in a well. And you find out that the different characters are the older versions of the younger characters that you see featured at different points throughout the 3 shorts that comprise this film. The first short is called Tainted Milk. And this is definitely tainted. And it is a taint, to say the least. I mean, now I swear to God, now I got something in my fucking eye. Like, God damn it. Like, this, just talking about this movie is causing me physical discomfort. Great. Like, now I got something in my fucking eye right now. I mean, Jesus Christ. I bet Maybe the reason why I got sick for so long is because of this fucking movie. So, Tainted Milk, the first short, features absolutely garbage animation that looks cheap, that looks like ass, that looks like some cutscenes from one of the worst PS1 games you will ever play in your life, complete with awful voice acting. I mean, voice acting that is so bad that it almost crosses over into it being good. S- so the first short has a story involving this kid named Tommy. And this kid named Tommy, he encounters this dog named Labby who has glowing red eyes. Why the kid didn't just run the fuck away from this devil dog, I have no idea. But this kid sees this devil dog with glowing red eyes and isn't scared of it and just continues to have conversations with it. And the devil dog, Labby, tells him that his unborn brother is the Antichrist and that Tommy must kill him. If that isn't bad enough, the scenes with Tommy's parents feature dialogue that is straight out of a Rob Zombie movie. Great. I not only have to do a shitty animation and equally as bad voice acting, but now I also have to deal with dialogue that sounds like it's from Rob Zombie's fucking Halloween. So he's got parents that are abusive and treat him like shit. And he's talking to a devil dog that may or may not exist. And the devil dog starts rambling on about how Tommy's mother's milk is tainted if she has a second child because women's breasts are evil. Oh, and then talks about how shadow men who live under your bed are responsible for babies. Yeah, the guy was clearly high when he wrote all of this shit. Probably thought it was super deep too. Now, Labby, because Tommy's unable to do the deed himself and kill his mother and take and kill the unborn child, Labby decides to do it himself, pulls the baby out of his mother's womb, kills his mother, and then decides, I'm also gonna bite off the dad's dick because, like Labby says, you know, the the penis is it's where the evil originated. So the dog bites off the dad's dick and then bites the dad in the neck and kills him too. The dad's dick, for some reason, though, stretches like it's Stretch Armstrong's arm, or like it's made out of uh, silly putty, or he's got Mr. Fantastic schlong. I don't know how or why, but it just completely breaks all the laws of physics before it gets ripped off. And you're like, okay, all right, where is this going? Tommy has some weird visions where he sees himself in a bubble floating in the sky and sees his parents turned into animals. He winds up going and meeting this monk by a well who asks him for his greatest wish. Tommy wishes that his parents were still alive. And so Labby says that his wish will be granted, but only if he gives up his virginity. And here is a disclaimer before I go any further. If you can't handle really intense and just disturbing imagery or ideas, I would probably say don't watch the rest of this video. Just click off, and thanks for checking in, and I hope you have a good day. Because from this point on, uh, it's just going to get really fucked up. I just wanted to give you a warning. Because what happens next, in order for Tommy to lose his virginity, Labby has Tommy have sex with him. Yes, there's a bestiality with a child. There's child bestiality. I can't believe I'm even saying those two words. I can't believe that I even saw this shit. But that's exactly what happens here. Jimmy, you are fucked in the head, and shame on you. Because it doesn't stop there, because the dog is also committing necrophilia on Tommy's dead mother. So you have child bestiality and necrophilia going on at the same time. And you know what Jimmy ScreamerClauz's excuse for all of this depravity is? It's shocking, man. Like, what? It's horror. It's supposed to be shocking. Yeah, this is shocking, but in an absolutely pointless and gross and abhorrent fashion. And to make matters worse, it's pointless because it doesn't lead to anything happening. The kid going through all this doesn't make his parents come back to life, because the end of the short is just him burying his parents and his dead brother. And that's it. That's all that you get with Tainted Milk. Might as well have kicked me in the fucking taint. I don't understand the mindset of anybody who would go to this fucking extreme. Especially somebody who apparently wrote this initially as a fucking comedy. That's how fucked in the head Jimmy ScreamerClauz is. He wrote this as a comedy initially. What is fucking funny about this? There is nothing funny about this. This is disgusting. So after that winner of a short, we get to chapter 2, Liquid Memories. And this one deals with a serial killer and a drug addict who's introduced in the film as the man at the well, but you can pretty much piece together that he's an adult Tommy. So Tommy, as an adult, is going around killing people, and he says things like, "I killed myself today." And he winds up killing people in order to extract their memories. Because apparently he's seeing visions of these shadow men, and they are either controlling him or he's utilizing them to enable him to be able to take out people's memories with a syringe, because he found out that there's a gland in people's brains where you can take out their memories, and then he injects the people's memories, the liquid memories, into himself, and then he utilizes all of that to be able to edit his own memories. That's an interesting idea in theory, but because Jimmy ScreamerClauz is such a hack and was probably high as shit while he was writing this, it doesn't make any fucking sense. And it doesn't live up to any of the potential that this concept or this idea might have had. Once again, you also have really bad animation. The animatic for the man is so distracting. He's walking around like he's on a fucking catwalk. It's like Jimmy only had enough money for the lower half of a female model and just reused that constantly throughout the short, even if it meant that he had a male character. It was so distracting. I kept calling the serial killer Mr. Sassy Pants because the guy's swaying his hips everywhere. Like, what the hell is this? So, Mr. Sassy Pants is killing these people and extracting their memories uh, and injecting them into himself. And you also have a prostitute who is going around offering favors. She runs into this paraplegic veteran who asks her to grease his pole, literally, like grease his poles, his metal leg. And she basically performs a hand job on his metal leg, but he has a flashback and a vision of a bunch of smiley face men, which I'm like, dude, only somebody who is high as balls would think that that shit is scary. A bunch of models with giant smiley face heads. Like, what the fuck, man? This isn't scary. This is stupid. And so the guy has hallucinations of this smiley face army and then freaks the fuck out and then attacks the prostitute, pokes her eye out, and then she grabs a bottle and kills him. The prostitute winds up at the church. The man lets her in. Actually, Mr. Sassy Pants lets her in and then kills her, injects himself with her memories, experiences them, which includes all these shadow men and other demonic entities, and faces people who look like they have testicles for heads. And uh there's like hentai and all other kinds of depraved and disturbing shit and loud noises and shit that just gives you a headache and is just nothing but fucking eye vomit, and it doesn't make any fucking sense, and it goes on forever. And then the segment ends when Mr. Sassy Pants decides to take his own life and shoots himself in the fucking head. There you go. That's Liquid Memories. A segment that was actually not that long, but it felt twice as long because there was no characterization for the most part, barely any depth, no reason to really care about anything that's happening, no tension. That's a serious problem with all of these shorts. No tension, no depth, don't care about the characters, don't care about what happens, and as a result, you're just bored out of your fucking mind despite all of the disturbing imagery that's flashing before your eyes. After a certain point, you just get desensitized with it. Like, yeah, this is disturbing and kind of messed up and weird and trippy, but I don't care about any of it. So it doesn't really leave any actual lasting impact. Then you get to chapter 3, the mask that the monsters wear. And this is the longest short. And it's honestly the hardest one to sit through because of the source material, because of the subject material, to be more precise. So this deals with a kid named Ralph who has a Siamese twin brother on the side of his face, and he's abused by his family. And of course, you have the typical stuff where the family likes the brother that was not born more than him and treats a Ralph like crap because of that. He has a crush on a classmate named Sophia, and he goes to talk to her, but then he winds up running into her father instead. And her father, who looks like Matthew McConaughey from Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation, he winds up giving Ralph a VHS tape of Sophia being molested. Yeah, he even sells it to the kid too. He's like, "Hey, you got to buy this tape, man." All right, all right, all right. And the kid somehow has money even though he's treated like crap by his parents. And why did he buy the tape to begin with? I guess the kid is also fucked in the head as much as Jimmy ScreamerClauz is. So the kid buys this rape tape. That's what he does. He buys a rape tape. He does, and he doesn't necessarily seem to have a problem with the molestation. He's more upset that the kid Sophia is crying in the video, but the father basically tells him to keep watching it. Ralph, of course, winds up running into Labby. He has a dream where Sophia asks him to take off his mask. He does so, and she isn't freaked out by him. He winds up going to Sophia's house, where her father tells him to have sex with Sophia while he films it. And you actually see all of this, or at least a simulation of it. You see a simulation of fucking child porn, of CP. And Jimmy ScreamerClauz had the audacity in the video description of, I think, a trailer for this to say that there isn't any of that in my movie. Bull fucking shit. There clearly is CP in your fucking disgusting, scuzzy ass fucking movie. The fact that you actually tried to argue otherwise is beyond me. You have the CP. Ralph then comes home to find his father watching the tape. And then he's all proud of Ralph. And he admits that he also did the same to Sophia. So then Ralph decides to kill his father with a baseball bat and then kills his mother. He then goes to Sophia's house and kills her father, along with one of the two men filming another video. Labby tells Ralph to kill his twin, so then he cuts the twin off his face, and then that is the end of that particular segment and that short. And I want to rinse my eyes out with fucking bleach. After all of that, you get to the epilogue, where Ralph returns to the well, looking for the spirit, and he finds Tommy and Sophia at the well, and then you see a view of the three children, Tommy, Sophia, and Ralph, alongside the spirit, the prostitute, and the man who is nailed to a cross, and then it ends. It mercifully fucking ends. I know people have tried to say that the third short, the masks that the monsters wear, is worthwhile despite its subject material. It's fucking not. It really isn't. It does have better characterization and an actual semblance of a story in comparison to the first two shorts, but it's not saying much of anything. Okay, so it's better than the bare minimum. That doesn't mean it's worthy of that much praise, especially something that's as sick and depraved as this short is. None of these shorts have next to anything at all when it comes to any redeeming values. There are some nightmarish, trippy, creepy, weird imagery at points, but that only goes so far. There are some interesting concepts, but they're not fully utilized or actually worked into the shorts in a cohesive or effective fashion. There's no tension. There's no reason to care about any of the characters because they all suck and they are all awful people. I get it. There's a lot of darkness. There's a lot of messed up shit in this world. And it is important to put a spotlight on those things from time to time. But this does nothing but put a spotlight on the depraved, the abhorrent, the disgusting, the immoral, and there's no balance to any of it. It's just nothing but an overabundance of sick and twisted shit. And after a certain point, it genuinely gets old and it gets tiresome because there's nothing to really make any of that have in the impact that it should. It doesn't feel realistic. It doesn't feel like it's actually grounded in any semblance of reality because it's just nothing but over the top darkness and depravity for an hour and a half. Now, as bad as the script is for this film, the voice acting at points is honestly just as bad, if not even worse, if that is even remotely possible. Jimmy ScreamerClauz himself actually voices the devil dog Labby, and it is just as cringe as you think it would be. The guy's not a voice actor. He has no talent whatsoever in that capacity, and it really shows. The dog sounds annoying. He doesn't sound creepy. He makes the dog sound annoying as hell and actually pretty laughable, despite all the really supposedly disturbing things this dog is saying. I'm sorry. I don't find it disturbing and creepy, despite what is being said if the dog sounds like this. Tommy. The 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 breasts the breasts are evil. Tommy, you must kill your brother, Tommy, because your brother is the Antichrist. Like, really? Really, Jimmy? Were you also high when you did the voiceover work? I mean, that would explain a lot. You also have Ruby LaRocca, who voices Sophia, Tommy's mother, the hooker, the lady in the well. Not really that good. Brandon Slagle voices the man and daddy. Does a pretty bad job. Joey Smack is Ralph Stanley, Tommy's father and the legless war veteran. He's pretty terrible. Especially, well, then of course you also have Joshua Michael Green who voices Tommy. That is the worst one of all of them. Like, how could you listen to this voiceover work and be like, yeah, that's fine? He sounds like Mr. Bill from SNL. This is exactly what Tommy sounds like. Labby? What? You want me to do what? You want me to kill my brother? I can't do that, Labby. Oh, no. Not Spot. Like, what? Are you fucking kidding me with this voice acting? Linnea Quigley apparently voiced Sophia's mother. I don't know how the hell he got her to do this. She must have really needed the money. But yeah, the voice acting is awful. It sucks. Then you have the editing by Jimmy ScreamerClauz, and it also sucks. It's also terrible and not good, to say the least. The music is, I mean, it's a lot of noise. It's not noise that's particularly that memorable. It's not noise that makes you really feel anything other than the pain that it provides because it gives you a fucking headache more times than not. But other than that, no, the music isn't much of anything either. And it's 95 minutes, but it feels like it's twice as long because there's no reason to give a single flying fuck or a shit about anything that is happening. There's no reason to care about the trippy, weird visuals because there's no likable or engaging characters to associate it with. There's no tension, there's no interesting plot for the most part. And it's just nothing but darkness and depravity and disgusting acts for 95 minutes. And If that's your idea of a good time, go for it. If not, avoid this fucking film like the plague. So, yeah, I loathed this movie. I honestly, I hated it. I hated this film so much. If anyone is going to request something like this in the future, I am asking for 3 times as much as what I normally ask for a request, because this was exhausting. This was exhausting. This was extremely upsetting to me to watch and to honestly think about, considering all of the subject matter that is featured in this movie. I'm not blaming you, Harvey. It's not your fault. It's Jimmy ScreamerClauz's fault because he made this fucking shit. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Where the Dead Go to Die. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later. See ya.